Hello and welcome to my channel. It's the Network Specialist. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so that you know each and every time I upload a video. Everything I will discuss in this video is alleged and in my very own opinion, used for entertainment purposes only. Okay? And let me just repeat that, guys. It's used for entertainment purposes only. Some of you guys need to lighten up a bit, okay? So today I will be doing a recap of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 16, episode 5, about last night. And thank you so much for being here, Mama Bees, and letting me know that you can hear me. I really appreciate you and all you do. So, guys, let's get into it. So, I love the way this episode started out with Shamia and Angela kind of following up on, Shamia extending the olive branch. She invited Angela over to her home and they were able to sit down and just, confirm that all is good and they were able to squash their beef and move forward, you know, and I thought that was very mature of them. And sometimes we don't see that on reality TV, so that was kind of good to see that they were able to apologize to each other and move on and have some resolution. Now, when I went live yesterday, I had not seen the actual episode. I think I seen maybe a small portion of the episode of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. But now that I have seen the entire episode, I have a lot to say, guys. So I'm going to start off by saying this. I feel like that Brit really did seem like she was genuinely sorry about what happened at the dinner with Kenya at the ball. She seemed genuinely sympathetic and, her saying that she, felt really bad that that happened. It seemed genuine, in my opinion. Now, that does not take away what Kenya was feeling in that moment and even after that moment, because she has the right to feel the way that she wants to feel. But I honestly feel like Britt was, very apologetic and it was sincere. Okay. And let me say this about Portia. Portia seems to be getting back to herself. In this episode, her energy was different. It seemed like she has that sparkle back. She looked absolutely amazing in all of the, all of the scenes that she was in. So it just seems like she's getting her spark back. Maybe when the show first started filming in episode 1 and 2, or whatever the case may be, she was really going through it at that time, but she seemed to have bounced back. And I'm glad to see Portia back to her, usual self. Fun, bubbly, you know, dressing, amazing like she always does. So Portia's definitely back. Now, Angela Oakley, she had a lot of scenes in this episode, which I'm not mad at because I actually enjoy that, she's making her family a part of her storyline. I'm not mad at that at all because at the end of the day, that's what we want to see. We want to see real live, storylines, the things that are actually happening in your real life. That's what we want to see and not made up storylines. And if that involves your family, then hey, we're all for it. And then when it comes to Charles, Charles is funny. He has a great personality. So I like when they do scenes together. He is made for TV because he is naturally funny. And he's not bad to look at. He's easy on the eyes. I like Charles, okay? So over the last week or so, we seen Cynthia making her rounds, doing her interviews, And speaking on the fact that Kenya stopped returning her calls. Now that the episode has aired, we kind of understand that whole situation a little bit better. And what we seen was that Cynthia was happy for Kenya and she genuinely wanted to be there to support her. So to see what excuse me, where they are now is kind of sad to see. And for Kenya to just stop taking her calls. Now, I do remember when they had another situation where I believe it was Kenya that felt like she wasn't supported when her and Cynthia was on a show together. Don't quote me on that, guys. I could have it mixed up. It could be the other way around. But I do know that they had some issues in the past when they were on another show. I can't think of it because I'm not even sure if I watched the show or if I just seen all of that play out on social media. So this is not the first time that they have had issues where, one of them felt like they were not being supported. But I feel like the reason why Kenya stopped taking Cynthia's calls is because out of all Kenya's friends, um, Cynthia was the only one that called Kenya out on her BS at that event and told her that she really hates that, she let this end this way. And she also told her that I think you're bigger than this and I think you're better than this. And for whatever reason, I think Kenya was in her feelings about Cynthia calling her out. Like, I don't know what she wanted her friends to say, but Cynthia is a real friend because a real friend will call you out when you're wrong. They won't let you go around here looking crazy, and just thinking that you can go gutter the way that Kenya did at her event. So Cynthia was absolutely right in calling Kenya out for the way she acted at her event. And I just feel like this could have been such an amazing event and the start of something great for Kenya. And I really hate that she allowed this situation to damage her character because when it first initially happened, yes, everybody was just like, what? Everybody could not believe what had happened. But some of us, not all, some people wanted to reserve their opinions until all of this played out on the show, okay, on TV. So we were all side eyeing Kenya, but we still gave her grace. But now that the actual episode has aired, like Kenya looks even worse than what we thought she would. Like seeing this play out, it's even worse than a lot of people initially thought it was. It was a very bad look for Kenya. That event, the way she decorated, the way she had the hair models, the other models chanting Kenya Moore, hair care, whatever the case, everything was beautiful, very well put together. It was everything that you would want your event to be. It was very successful until Kenya decided to try and embarrass Brit Eady. And I know she wished like hell that she could take it back because that was like the worst thing she could have done at the launch of her event. Like, it's so crazy. Like, it was just bad all the way around. But I can't see, but I'm just saying, if she would have did it at one of um Brit's lunch parties, but to do that at your own, like, how did you think that you were going to be vindicated? Like, how did you feel like this was going to be a win for you, Kenya, at your own event? Like, that was just ludicrous. And Mama B says, Kenya totally blew it. She let the newbie ruin her career. That part, Mama B's. And just like Porsha said, Kenya literally threw away all of that hard work that she has done over the years to get to this point. Like everything she has done over all these years to get to this point to launch her own spa, after launching her product line, like, and you ruined it just to get back at a newbie. Whew. Yeah, that was a whole lot. Now, let's get to Drew. Because Drew was on point this episode, guys. When Drew told Portia that she could have Dennis's hot dog, Portia didn't even know how to come back from that because low key, everybody knows, in my opinion, allegedly, Portia is still messing with the hot dog man. Okay? Like we know you still indulging in the hot dog, Portia. So when Drew said that, it was right on time. Like I didn't even know that, Drew could eat like that. Like Drew ate Portia up. And quite honestly, again, I did not know that, Drew had it in her because a lot of times Drew let everybody run all over her. Like say whatever they want to say. She never really claps back. She just put on this innocent act. And that was starting to get old. So I think Drew is starting to, understand what reality TV is supposed to look like, and all Portia could do was walk off. Okay. But with that being said, when Portia walked off, I guess that's a sign of growth when it comes to Portia, because we all know that the old Portia would have drug Drew by her wig. Okay. Everybody knows that Portia likes to fight. So, it looks like maybe Portia, is starting to mature and, she's starting to improve. And she's not a hothead like she have been in previous seasons. But when, at Kenya's event, when she was speaking to her guests like they were her therapist, I was just like, no, no, no. Like, Kenya, what are you doing? Like, what were you thinking when Kenya was saying what she was saying to her guests? Like, oh, I'm tired of people trying to do this and do that, whatever the case may be. I'm not going to continue to let people walk over me. I'm like, girl, this is your event. Like, this isn't, you're not sitting in your therapist office. Like, it was a little cringe for real. I was just sitting there like, wow, wow, wow. That was so tacky. The people at the event were shocked, to say the least. And the responses was epic. I can say that. The responses was everything. Drew's response, Cynthia's response was right on point. Cynthia said, what's lower than hell? What's worse than hell? Whatever it is, that's where we're at now. And that was just so funny. Like Cynthia called that out because Kenya went straight to the gutter. Okay. So as they were walking out, and I love the fact that Portia said, I'm leaving because I don't want people to think that I agree with this and that I'm okay with what Kenya is doing. So she walked out of the event, and so did a lot of her guests. And Kenya was telling the production, I want you to take this mic off right now. I don't want you to continue to keep filming me. You can just act like I wasn't even at this event. And I wonder what Kenya felt when she seen Porsha say that. Like, wow. So I think that's one of the reasons why Kenya knew she had to do an apology after this episode aired, was because she was able to see the reaction from all of her friends, all of her family members, everybody who was genuinely there to support her. Like, they were flabbergasted. And then when at the end of this episode, they went so far as to say, based on Kenya's behavior, the decision was made to cease filming with her this season. Now, how embarrassing is that? Like, I don't think this situation could have gotten any worse. The only way this situation would have been worse if somebody was physically harmed. That's the only way. Like, this was the worst case scenario that Kenya could have had at the launch of her spa. Like, she really effed that up. Okay. Now, I do want to say this. We all know that last season, Kenya tried to do a soft launch of her spa. And for whatever reason, Bravo did not air the soft launch of Kenya's spa. So I believe that Kenya felt like they didn't air that because there wasn't enough drama, or whatever the case may be. All of her friends was at that event too to support her, but I feel like, and a lot of people feel like, they didn't air Kenya's soft lunch because it wasn't messy enough for Bravo and the producers. So I think that in Kenya's head, she did what she did because she wanted to bring the mess to ensure that this time her launch was going to be aired on the show. Little did she know that she went too far, and it was a bad look. Okay. And they even put on the screen that because of the nature of what Kenya was showing at her event, they could not show that on TV. So I don't think Bravo helped Kenya out trying to downplay this situation. For me, Bravo made the situation look even worse than it actually was, to be honest. Like, they did not spare Kenya at all. And that's really sad. For all of the time that she spent on this show, they did not spare Kenya at all. Okay. So Kenya did make an apology on her Instagram. And I'm not going to show it because YouTube, they be doing too much. But she basically posted a video from her event. It looks like something that was sent to her from Bravo, or maybe one of her videographers or whatever sent this to her. But this is what Kenya said. She said, "You have been my besties for the last 12 years, and I love and appreciate you so much. Last year, you cried with me when all of my hard work from the salon was cut by production and none of it was shown." She said, "I want to thank all of my friends who showed up for me and who support me on a regular basis, who love me down." And then, she said, "My glam team never gets it wrong." And she tagged all of them. And then she said, "At Miss Lawrence, thank you for gracing us all with your presence. You are a star. I hope to turn our segment into a TV show, God willing. Special thanks to my event planner who always throws the most stunning events." And I absolutely agree because that was an amazing event, minus the whole drama with Kenya. Hey Sharon, thank you so much for being here. She said, thank you to the gorgeous models who helped make Kenya Moore hair care so iconic. She said, to the cast of RHOA season 16, I wish you all an incredible season. To my friends and family, thanks for loving me, flaws and all. She said, thank you to all the stunning women who have patronized at Kenya Moore Hair Spa. I love making you look beautiful. Love and blessings to all of you. Oh my God. Whew, that was a lot, guys. So, what do you guys have to say about that whole event? And Sherman said the event was lit. It absolutely was. If Kenya had not done what she did, that event would have went down in the books. Like, it was amazing. The flowers, all of the purple, the ladies with all of the extravagant hairstyles, just everything was amazing. So I really do hate that for Kenya. You know, I don't know what she was going through in her life. It kind of makes me feel like what Dr. G said when he went off on Quad. He was going through something in his personal life. And when she came after him, or, you know, when she started saying what she was saying to Dr. G, it took him out of character. So for some reason, that keeps playing in my head. And it just seems that Kenya was already going through something in her personal life. And she took that little disagreement that she had with Brit and blew it all out of proportion. And yes, Brit did the same thing. And after she had the opportunity to sleep on it, she realized right away that she regretted doing what she did, and I think it was just like Porsha said, what happened at the restaurant while they were sitting at the table, that was something that they could have definitely moved on from. That was no big deal. But when Britt mentioned the pow pow, I think that's when it took the whole situation to another level. And I do feel like if production or Bravo would have addressed that situation with Brit right then and there. I know it was probably the next day or within a few days, but I feel like if they would have addressed the situation immediately, maybe Kenya would not have done what she did. And I'm not taking any blame away from Kenya, because what Kenya did made what Britt did look like it was almost nothing, because you had a whole audience of people at your event. There was only a couple of people that heard what Britt said. And if the situation would have been addressed, I don't know. Maybe they would have taken it out. And Sharon says, I know Kenya was wrong, but in my opinion, Britt lit the fire. I would never go anywhere I'm not invited. So, Sharon, are you saying that she lit the fire by showing up at Kenya's event? Because Kenya already had that planned out. Like, she had all her poster boards. She was like exhibit number one. Because remember, Portia said, well, God darn, if that's exhibit one, like, where is Kenya going with this? So that was already pre-planned for Kenya to embarrass Britt at that event. And like somebody else said, Kenya never took the time to uninvite Britt to that event. Yes, I know somebody in their real mind probably never would have attended the event, but she was going to basically extend an olive branch and smooth things over. And Sherman says, yes, because she knew they weren't in a good space. Yes, you're absolutely right. But unfortunately, Kenya already had that plan. That's why she already had everything printed out. And she had even told Porsha and Kelly maybe a day or two before that she was going to do a background check on Brit. So she was already planning her revenge on Brit. So Kenya meant to do everything she did. It wasn't a last minute decision. It wasn't something she did in the heat of the moment. Kenya planned to humiliate Brit. It was all pre-planned. So unfortunately for her, she made one of the biggest mistakes of her life. And Mama B said, but if she had not shown up, I don't think she would have showed the posters. Oh, okay. So you guys feel like if Britt hadn't have showed up, then maybe she would not have went there. Okay, that's a great valid point. I didn't think of it that way. That is absolutely true. Maybe she would have saved the posters for a later time and not at her event. That could be true. So thank you guys for adding that perspective. And Sharon said, maybe it's just me because I don't like bread. No, it's not just you. And that is a great point. Maybe because now that I think about it, maybe when she went upstairs with that same guy, what was his name? The one that she said that she wanted to do something with him in the future. Let me see. What's his name? Mrs. Lawrence. Maybe when her and Mrs. Lawrence walked upstairs, because it seemed like they walked off. Maybe that's when, at the last minute, she decided to do it. She already had the posters, so maybe you guys are right. Maybe she decided to do it in the heat of the moment when Britt showed up to her event. That's a great point. But again, I just whew, wish this could have been resolved before both of these ladies took it to the point that they decided to take it to. And for some reason, I think that these ladies look a lot alike. They have a very similar body type. So kind of feel like Kenya feels like Brit Eady is the biggest threat to her out of all of the newbies. And it has been said allegedly that Brit Eady also had a BBL and their BBLs look similar. And maybe Kenya is just jealous because Brit Eady's BBL, turned out a little bit better than hers. Like, I don't know what would make these ladies just be so mean to each other. But the verdict is still out on Brit Eady. I definitely don't like her husband. I'm gonna give her a little bit of grace at this moment and see if she changes my mind because right now I'm not really feeling her too much. And as you guys know, I said it yesterday when I went live. My favorites right now is Shamia and Kelly. And Mama B says, I believe all the newbies came too hard at the beginning with all the regulars. Yes, they were definitely trying to, make themselves seen, keep their spot on the show. So the newbies did come in hot, but after, a couple of episodes, they've really toned it down a lot. And everybody is just trying to be friends at this point. So we'll see what, plays out in the next episode and all of the backlash from, what happened at Kenya's event, what Britt had to say, because I think she walked out before it was actually aired. We'll get to see all of that play out, hopefully, on the next episode. And guys, that's going to be it for my recap of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 16, episode 5, about last night. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this live. And if you have not done so already, please like this video. And if you just happen to be catching the replay, please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel and drop down in the comments so that we can keep this conversation going. Thank you guys so much for watching and bye for now.